There you go. They used to get excited in those days too. A bit of a wave of the boater, the old straw hat, a few bowlers there too, and you'd probably find the occasional pith helmet there as well. Flemington historical shot there. And there's the brand new shot that we have this year from the Whitman's Lightship. And doesn't it look terrific? It just looks terrific. Party atmosphere. You see all the people seated on the lawns there. Now, just a little while ago, Mr. Director, did I not see a shot of 6'8" Tim Gossage and 4'0" Tim Bailey in the betting ring? What's going on?
It took me a while to find someone, Timmy, that's bigger than Timmy. Down here, camera, down here. Timmy Gossage, nick off. Southeast Melbourne Magic champion, man. Johnny Dodge, what a year. The Olympics, the Dream Team game, and now a championship in the NBL. You ecstatic?
Timmy, you've got to be happy with that, mate. And the good thing about it is I'm still having a win here, and that's even better still. But what I need to know is, did you actually leave your legs in Sydney? Look at the size of it.
Thank you very much, John Dodge. Timmy, back to you. I'm off to buy a milk crate. Bye.
Yeah. Feel like you just pick him up, throw him away. Come to think of it, that's not a bad idea. One last little chance on the fashion competition. You've only got until 4 o'clock to get involved. Here's how you do it.
You can be a winner in our Oaks Day fashion competition just by calling 0055 606 58 if you know the right answer to this question. Which day of the carnival is considered to be the elegant fashion day for ladies? Is it A, Oaks Day, or B, Melbourne Cup Day? 2 winners will be chosen from callers with the correct answers, and they will each receive a great prize of $1,000 in fashions from Suzanne's. So ring 0055 606 58 and you can call right up until 4 o'clock Eastern Summer Time. Winners will be announced after race 7 today.
Yes, and all the best. Look at that. Don't you wish you were here? And of course, if you can't be here, we hope we're at least demonstrating on the television for you wherever you're watching us. What a beautiful day it is here at Flemington. The week so far has just been spectacular. Oh, goodness me. Look at that dress. What's that made out of? Plastic, newspapers, magazine covers. Whatever it's made out of. It's very fetching. Everything's a bit eye-catching around here today. Yes, the millinery, the outfits. Bloke tucking into something there, a little ice cream probably. Just a marvellous day, as the whole week has been, and fairly shortly I'll be able to get you a crowd figure and see how many people have come into Flemington today to watch the Oaks. We think around the 60,000 mark. Very, very short-priced favourite in the next. He is Octagonal's brother, so I guess Peter Donegan, why wouldn't he be?
He is a lovely racehorse, Tim, and his win in Sydney recently, Jennifer, was very impressive. I think we might see a pretty special horse here.
I think so. His 2 wins have been very good. He can show some very good pace in his races, and I think stepping up to the 1,400 metres is probably what he's looking for as well. He's the horse to beat, but he's extremely short. He's paying $1.90 on the toe.
Now, the reason for the name, by the way, Moorward, apparently it is an 8-sided diamond, and he is out of a mare called 8 Carat, so it's a lovely name.
A little like mine, is it, Pete? No, not quite.
That one that I bought, yes. There he is anyway, and he's a lovely individual.
He is a lovely individual. Well, he's got all the credentials, hasn't he? I think he's going to be extremely hard to beat, although I wouldn't be taking those short odds about him.
Number 2 is Monet's Cove, and Rodney Griffiths, the rider here, and finished 3rd the other day behind Cool Choice, was only beaten a short half head and 2 1/4 lengths.
Well, Monet's Cove actually showed a lot of fight on Saturday after racing 3 wide, dropping back to the 1,400 from 1,600 metres. Got the speed to be handy, this horse. I'd expect him to give a bit of a show for quite some time. He's there with a chance.
Maximal went around in that same race the other day and finished about 3 1/2 lengths from the winner, Cool Choice. Prior to that, it also chased Cool Choice home at Caulfield and was a pretty good effort that day.
Sure was. Well, on Saturday, got back and was 3 wide most of the way there, and I thought it was a pretty good effort. Could definitely improve here if he's taken no harm from Saturday's run.
Suburbia is one trained by John Hawkes and Darren Gauci, the rider, taking a big step up in class after running in a Class 5 at Sale and finishing 3rd, and then finished in the middle of the field at Geelong recently.
Well, on that occasion at Geelong, Pete, he did get back a fair way and wasn't given all that much chance there. Had a lot of weight too, 58 kilos. Stepping up in distance to the 1,400 metres, and I think if he gets some luck from the tail of the field, he's not out of it.
What about Spike Shortsmount here, number 5, Jen Northern Warrior?
Well, Well, he's a leader, Pete, so he's likely to be up there in the firing line. He won a maiden by 4 lengths and he sat second to Werribee and went on to score quite well as well. 1400 metres does look ideal for him. I've left him there with some chance.
Track rider trained by John Maher, Brett Preble the rider, number 6, and I thought his run at Caulfield 2 runs ago was very good. He was getting home nicely behind Mighty Way, and then he went to Geelong and ran second there.
Ran behind Sharik. Now, Sharik, of course, ran on Tuesday and finished well back in that race. Just taking a line through that form, he just might be after a race that's a little bit weaker than this.
Hot Taste number 7, a last start winner at Yarra Glen, just having its 6th start in a race, to be ridden by Brian Werner, who picked up a couple of lucky rides in Country Cups and won the Cranbourne and Geelong Cups on Hereditas.
Yes, this horse was quite wide all the way at Moonee Valley, and then he did get up and score in a weak maiden at Yarra Glen. His dry track form is quite okay, so I'd respect that. I've left him there with a chance.
And the other one with a chance, number 8, Sandridge Bay. Now, you've selected this horse, Jen, and I thought his run was eye-catching when he got home very late in the middle of the field behind Cool Choice at Caulfield.
And you go back to his first start too, Pete, at Moonee Valley. It was a very eye-catching run itself. Gets back. He does run on very strongly. I think significantly here, Greg Hall is on board with 52.5 kilos. He will definitely help this horse. Watch for him running on very, very strongly.
So you've gone for him at the value?
Yes, number 8, Sandridge Bay, from number 1, Moorward, and number 7, Hot Taste.
Moorward for me certainly looks the one, but the value in the race is the one that Jen has suggested, with Moorward coming up very short on the tote. In fact, at the moment showing round about $1.80 and $1.10 on the tote for a $1 investment in the Moet and Shandon Stakes. 1400 metres is the journey here, and well, he's pretty tight, Dan.
Indeed he is. He's unbeaten too, and at $1.80 he's certainly not going to get out a lot further than that, you wouldn't anticipate. Monet's Cove and Maximal, on the other hand, represent good value. They're very good 3-year-olds. $17 Suburbia, $14 for Northern Warrior, which is going for 3 wins in a row. Track Rider 1360 is a consistent type. Hot Taste they've got an opinion of at just under 22. Sandridge Bay at $12.70, and then pretty big odds for Golden Scroll, Dr. Livingston, and Simply Salubrious. But certainly all the rage is Moorward.
All the rage Moorward. I can tell you Track Rider's up on his toes here and almost got rid of the rider there, but a clerk of the course has picked him up now and taken him to the stalls. Well, also up on his toes is Tim Gossage, but Tim, you don't need to be. You're tall enough.
Yes, Peter, and you've got to be, because there's still a lot of people here in the ring. Moorward is, I think, I stand corrected, is it the first horse in the 3 days we've been on air that's been in the red in the ring, for mine anyway, and they're still letting them on the bookmakers. Monet's Cove and Maximal, the only other 2 horses under double-figure odds. And here's a tip. Number 10, Dr. Livingston, it's triple figures, is a place chance.
OK, Dr. Livingston, a bit of a roughie from Tim Gossage, but Moorward all the rage here. Sandridge Bay, incidentally, hasn't left the mounting yard yet. Greg Hall hasn't got up, and I don't think there's any sign of him. 1400 metres is the journey here for race number 6. And again, they'll start on the far side of the track. A field of 13 to run here, or sorry, 11 to run, and we'll take this break as we survey the scene here at Flemington prior to the running of race 6. We'll be back with you very shortly.
Men adore. Men adore. Men adore. Men adore. Glamour. Hello.
The city of Melbourne looking at her delightful best as we pan to the centre of attention today in that great city. And that is, of course, Flemington Racecourse, down by the Maribyrnong River. And they're heading to the stalls over at the 1400 by the bridge there and the river for this, the Moet and Shandon Stakes, over 1400 metres, which includes Moorward. Roy Higgins is with me now. And, well, what did you make of the Big O's brother?
I call him, I just wrote down here, the Little O. He's similar in colour. Unsimilar in characteristics about him. He's more of a short, stocky type than what the Big O Octagonal was at the same stage. This fella's got far more maturity in him than I think Octagonal had. Octagonal was a very advanced 2-year-old and 3-year-old. This fellow looks as though he's just on the way. Look for him for, irrespective of what he does here today. I think you'll see this horse next year. I think he'll be back in one of the big ones. He's a nice horse, but he's not all that big at this point. I left him on top because of his sheer natural ability that we have seen in Sydney. Did like to look at number 8 here, Sandridge Bay. Another horse by the same sire of Zabeel as of Moorward. And geez, a nice horse. Put a big watch beside him. I think he'll run well. Number 2, Monet's Cove, and 5, Northern Reward, were the other 2 very fit horses. I marked them 1, 8, 2 and 5 for race 6 on the program.
Thoughts of Roy Higgins there. They're about to be placed in the stalls, and Jen's selection, Sandridge Bay, number 8. Opened up round about the $18 mark on the tote, into $11 now, Sandridge Bay, and Millward for your dollar investment in Victoria, showing $1.80 and $1.30. You just saw Sandridge Bay on screen there. It carries the second set of emergency colours here, which you don't see too often, and that's white with the black striped sleeves. So that was the reason that Greg Hall was a little bit late coming out. He couldn't find the colours. The trainer was trying to tell him they were in the room, but Greg couldn't find them. Now, Tim, any late moves down there?
Sandridge Bay, double figures now into single figures. It's the best back runner late, Peter.
All right, Jenny Chapman's tip here in the 6th event. You can come in if you like.
No, I was just talking to Richard Freeman, actually.
Okay, and drinking water, obviously.
And drinking water, yes.
Okay, so it's Sandridge Bay for Jen each way. The punters like him, but they also like Muawad Dan, and I think rightly so.
Yeah, moving in well here. Thank you, Peter and Jen. Gary, what did you think of this?
Well, Muawad certainly looks a beautiful horse, but I did like the look of Moet's Cove. I thought his, ribs are showing. I thought he looked very fit.
Simply Salubrious going in, and they're set now. Moet and Shandong Stakes over the 1,400 metres.
What's wrong?
Just about ready. There's a bit of action in the centre there. An attendant called. Starters on his platform, line on now, and away they go. Sandridge Bay up in the air at the start, missed it about a half, 3/4, and Simply Salubrious will settle down towards the tail. Northern Warrior began pretty well with Track Rider and Maximal. They're all handy. Settling just off the speed, Millward's probably into about 5th spot at the moment, around the outside of Dr. Livingston. Suburbia is a length and a half away in about 7th position from Simply Salubrious. Monet's Cove allowed to drift back to about 3rd last. Hot Taste is now 2nd last, and Sandridge Bay just slightly checked off heels at the tail of the field. 850 metres to go now, and working to the lead, Northern Warrior about a half a length in front as Millward goes up into 2nd spot now. A length away was Track Rider into 3rd. They were followed by Dr. Livingston. Out wider was Simply Salubrious, followed by Maximal and Hot Taste together from Track Rider just up in front of them. As they approach the home turn, Sandridge Bay, Monet's Cave is back to last. 550 to go, and it's Millward on the outside of Northern Warrior. Northern Warrior will straighten over a length in front of Millward, then Track Rider. They were followed by Maximal getting up on the inside, Suburbia putting himself into the race, and then Golden Scroll running down to the 300 metres mark, and Millward has gone up to hit the lead. Suburbia just behind him, and then Track Rider, Maximal into the clear and running on from Northern Warrior, but the leader is Millward over a length and a half in front. Maximal is knuckling down from Suburbia, but it's all Millward. He is a very smart horse. Millward's going to win well from Suburbia and Maximal. That's the way they finish. Millward first, 2nd Suburbia, 3rd Maximal, then came Track Rider from Sandridge Bay. Monet's Cove was never a hope, and then Golden Scroll. Northern Warrior knocked up from Dr. Livingston and Hot Taste, and Simply Salubrious at the tail.
Yeah, beautiful win, Dan. Beautifully ridden by John Marshall. I'm sure anyone who backed him, took the short odds, had no worry in the run. He went up, sat just behind the leader, and when John Marshall asked him to go, he certainly accelerated.
Geez, a smart horse. He just keeps improving that 1 length every start that I've been able to see him at, and look, he did that pretty comfortably. Yeah. He takes a little bit of riding to get him going, doesn't he, up on the steel, but once he gets it, Gary, he looks so impressive.
He was very impressive here, and they ran 1:22.7, which is very good time. You can just see it. John just asked him to lengthen stride here at the clock tower, and he certainly did. He answered all his calls. I thought Maximal was going to run on and run 2nd for you, but it just didn't quite make it. Suburbia held it off, but all the honours were with Millward. Did a very good job and went away to win well.
Sandridge Bay got into a bit of trouble. He was a bit tardy at the start. He seemed to get checked off heels, didn't settle that well, but he got to the line okay, and there's obviously a future for him as well.
Yes, lovely looking horse, so he'll definitely be an improver. But oh gee, this horse, he's a smart horse, and you can see here he's got 2 or 3 links on him and just gone right away. Well, great to see Johnny Marshall down here.
Yeah, with Clary Connors too, you'd think you'd probably be Sandown Guineas bound, wouldn't you?
Definitely.
And we might find out, because Clary Connors is with Peter Donegan in the mounting yard.
Yes, Clary just down congratulating the connections and talking about his horse. I think we've just seen a pretty smart performance there, and we'll find out from Clary just how smart this horse is. You had a pretty good one in Terse. How does he stack up against him?
I think he'd be better than Terse. He never got a chance to run in the slip of this horse, but he always showed much more abilities. I think he'd be a great horse. And, 12 months' time, I hope he's a superstar of the turf.
You think he will be?
Yeah, I do. Honestly, I think he's a great horse, and he'll just get better and better.
Just when he went for him and he flattened out, he finds that 2 or 3 lengths, which is the sign of a really good horse, isn't it?
This is what I mean about the horse. He's a lovely horse to train. He over-raced a little bit, as you can see. And John was going to be wide, so he sort of went forward on the horse. He was laying on the turn a bit, you know. This is why we brought him down. All these learning things, you know. He's still only a young horse, and life's a big joke to him, but he's coming around nice. And but as you say, when you say go something, well, he wakes up and he does it, and that's the good thing about the horse. And I'm very grateful to have him because he's a bloody good horse.
Sandown Guineas, Clary?
No, Spell. Spell now, and he'll come back for the Cadbury Guineas. The Flemington then.
I think we've got a lot to look forward to when we see him back here in February. Well done.
Yeah, I hope we all have.
Clary Connors, the winning trainer. Here's John Letts on the track now with the winning rider after race 6, John Marshall.
Johnny Marshall, well, John, you've ridden some good horses in your time. Sky Chase amongst them. This horse must rate right up there with them.
Well, at the same time in their preparations, this horse is certainly right up with them, John.
He seems to do everything right in a race.
He's got a great temperament. He's a ready-made racehorse. He just doesn't put a foot wrong.
You know, 3 starts, 3 wins, and he hasn't won ordinary races, has he? He's just getting better and better. And you think, John, when he gets over a bit more ground?
I certainly do, John, because he's a very relaxed horse in these races, and he doesn't over-race unless you give him a squeeze, so he's pretty foolproof.
You were always in control, weren't you?
I was very confident.
Yeah. Good luck, mate.
Thanks.
Something to look forward to next year.
Certainly.
Good luck, mate.
John Marshall talking to John Letts, and I've got the sneaking suspicion that in 12 months' time we might be talking about that day on Oaks Day in 1996 when we saw a little horse called Muirward having his first start in Melbourne and only his 3rd start in a race, and we might be talking about a horse that is going to do a lot in his time on Australian racetracks. Muirward number 1, Johnny Marshall the winner for Clary Connors. 2nd placing going to 4, Suburbia Darren Gauci, Maximal Darren Beedman 3rd. Officially 4th home was track rider Sandridge Bay after getting back to last, ran home to get 5th. Time for the journey 1:22.7. The Big O's little brother Muirward. We've seen something pretty special here at Flemington on Oaks Day. We'll take a break and be back to get the correct weight signal and the dividends in a moment.
Well, that's an interesting outfit. I've noticed a fair amount of cross-dressing going on. Whether that concerns me or not, I think they're just having fun. A lot of that going on today too. A lot of fun being had at Flemington. Just a pretty day. There's a favourite spot. Been down there with those folks, sitting amongst the roses, having a quiet sip. It's just beautiful. And here's our little ritual. We're after correct weight from Mr. Gleeson.
6, 8 and 9.
Correct weight. And he's happy. Correct weight. So weight is right for Muirward. And look at him. Good sort, just like his brother, Danny Malecki. Dividends, please.
$1.80 and $1.30 for the horse that was named after a diamond ring that Richard Burton gave to Elizabeth Taylor. And it must have been some sort of ring. $1.80, $1.30 Muirward, Suburbia $4.20 and Maximal $2.20. Quinella $18.10, Exacta $26.70, the running double $186.60 and the trifecta $118.50, 143. 4th was number 6 Track Rider, 5th was number 8 Sandridge Bay. The margins were 2 3/4 lengths by a half a neck, and Tim, the time was 1:22.7, and it was a very easy win indeed, and a very easy $32,500 picked up by the connections of Muirward.
Yes, indeed, Danny. It was some kind of ring. I'll tell you, Richard Burton was extremely fond of Elizabeth, and she didn't mind wearing that ring around. Muirward. Wow. I don't think the Persuader came out at any stage. The presentations are right here as well.
Yes, very impressive, ladies and gentlemen. The winner of the last, and I think we'll see better things to come too. Of course, the Moat Shandon Stakes, Mr. Rick Charlton, it is, who is representing the VRC. But to begin our presentations, Mr. Brett Crittenden, the Marketing and Sales Manager of Moat Shandon.
Ladies and gentlemen, committee members, Moët Chandon has been associated with some of the great sporting events in the world. I don't think in the 4-day carnival, 5-day carnival you've seen a greater example of better sponsorship and better use of the product than we've seen in the last few days. Moët Chandon is just one of the great products, great champagnes of the world, and it gives me great pleasure to present the winner of the Moët Chandon Stakes to the Easter Syndicate, Rob McNulty. Well done on a great win.
Thank you very much.
Well done, Rob.
Okay, cheers. Yeah, right.
Yes, just watching the head-on shot there, we've confirmed that at no stage did John Marshall even need to get out the Persuader on Moorward. I tell you what, look at this. Watch this for a racehorse. And you know, as I come back to you, Peter Donegan and Jenny Chapman, you just knew, didn't you? Just like you knew on Saintly, I think, when they came around the turn, this horse had so much left to give. Marshall asked for it, he gave it, and look at that for a beautiful television shot of a magnificent looking animal. Moorward, whether he goes on with it or not, is of course up to him and trainer Clary Connors, and we'll certainly see next year after he goes out for a spell. I think we've seen something pretty special. In fact, we won't go to Peter just yet. We might take ourselves a little break, then we'll come back and talk to Peter and Jenny. Welcome back to beautiful Flemington on Oaks Day of 1996. And just like a lot of people don't leave the car park, there's a lot that don't get up off that blanket either, I'll tell you. And it's a pretty nice place to sit amongst the roses, have a little sip, and maybe have a runner go and put the bets on for you, just like I have, Peter Donegan. The Lynn Lithgow Stakes, you know, I just noticed the top 6 have won about 6 million between them. And of course, the top weight Mahogany's won 3. So there's some pretty fair horseflesh going around.
Yeah, former Horse of the Year, of course, Mahogany Tim. So we've got a quality field here in the Lynn Lithgow Stakes, sponsored by Network 10, of course. Over 1,200 metres, Madison Point comes out. A field of 13, Jen, and it's a toughie.
It is a very tough race. Many horses with many chances in this, Pete. On Saturday, I was tipping number 13 here, Armadale, and of course he got the money. I thought it was a good, solid win. He only gets him with 51.5 kilos here. I think he's got a terrific chance. From number 9, Seiko, really tried hard on Saturday as well. And for third, I put in number 11, Brackenbank.
Well, you're the odd girl out because you've gone for Armadale. The rest of us going for Poetic King, who is just a model of consistency. Wouldn't you love to have a horse like him who tries as hard as him? He's won, I think, 3 Group 1 races. He's just a terrific horse, and of course won the Toorak Handicap over 1,600 at his last start, and prior to that had won up the straight here in the Rupert Steele. But he gives his all every time he races.
Does he ever? And he has had his own fair share of health problems in the past, but he's very, very good.
Okay, let's see if the Tate punters think the same way we do. Yes, they do. Dan, he's the favourite.
It's a terrific sprint field, isn't it? With Mahogany at $9.80, Poetic King $3.20, Sequalo 18, Sword $11.80, You Remember $12.40, Rivada $22.60. Over the page, Rai Hero, Seika, Ruffles, Brackenbank, Regal Centre, Armadale, Spartacus. Real quality field of sprinters under weight for age conditions, due at 5 minutes after 4.
And as we come back to you, Tim, I can tell you his stable name, Poetic King, is Plugger, but really he is anything but a plugger. I think he's probably more named after Tony Lockett because he's powerful and, well, he's a little champ. Not that Tony is, of course.
Yes, indeed.
There you are.
I am. I'm here. I was just having a little sip of rosehip tea. I'm sorry, PD.
That's okay.
And we just saw the scene in the betting ring down there, and I tell you what, it's chock-a-block still full of people, everyone just thoroughly enjoying the day on VRC Oaks Day. Look at them all. There we go. And what have we got? 10 to 4, so I'll get a crowd from somebody soon, and we'll see if Gary Willits has won the chocolates from Lynn Talbot on the crowd figure. One went for 55, the other for 60. And I reckon it's got to be close to 60. Some are saying it's pretty close to Derby Day crowd, 65 or so. So we'll see. There's some very fashionable young ladies. Let's see what Lynn Talbot has made of fashions on the field.
Earlier today, we saw the third and final heat of Crown's Fashions on the Field. And the judges had a tough time selecting just 3 finalists for each of the 2 categories from a field of stunning fashion. Let's take a look at it. Well, Tim, Crown's Fashions on the Field have been run and won out here on the members' lawn. And here are the winners with me now. They look fantastic. We have Renee Henderson, winner of the classic fashion section, and Victoria Shaw, winner of classic hats. And in the middle, we have Richard Holden, who designed this fantastic outfit. Can you tell me all about it?
Yes, I bought the fabric in Sydney, a plug, Fabric Fantasy. It's a marvellous, it's a silk, loose work silk fabric. I actually sketched it out on a calico to work out which way the stripes went. It's very Louis Farrow, and lovely, very nice to have Renee wearing it. She's done a wonderful job, and you're a star, my girl, you're a star.
Thank you. And Victoria, can you explain your hat to us? It's quite stunning.
My hat, actually, I chose the design out of a very old British Vogue. It's probably about 15 years old, this design, and I had it remade about 2 years ago, and I've just been waiting for the right weather to wear it.
And today is the day, and I do have to give your mother a mention too. She made that fantastic outfit.
The house
well done. Well, we've enjoyed fashions on the field today very much, and some rightful winners here. Thanks, Tim.
And thank you, Lenny. You always need a little bit of help from your mum. We'll take a short break and back with you very soon. Pardon me. Welcome back to Flemington on Oaks Day of 1996. Just a nice, peaceful, relaxing day in the sun. That's pretty much what it is for most people. They're just making their way towards the mounting yard and towards Peter Donegan and Jenny Chapman, so we have a little bit of time. Let's go down to the 10 marquee where Sandra Sully has a couple of the cast members from Sunset Boulevard.
Yes, I do, Tim. DJ Foster and Catherine Porter, thanks for joining us today. Welcome to Oaks Day.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Now, Catherine, you've just flown in from the United States. Actually, you studied in the United States and you're working in London, but you've flown in for the part. You played Betty on Sunset Boulevard in London, so how's it playing the same role but with a different production and different cast here?
Fantastic, completely different, loving it. The cast is amazing here. I feel incredibly lucky. We've had a couple tragedies and things, but we've all become really tight and strong, and it's a great company. I'm really honoured to be in the show.
These sorts of things do pull you all together. I know, DJ, you've got a couple of roles in the show. Which one do you enjoy the most?
Probably the finance man, where I get to chase Hugh around the grounds, and also we have a little interaction, Catherine and myself. But no, the whole show's fantastic. Everyone is fantastic. Catherine's great. We're hoping she won't go home too soon and stay with us.
Now, you got off to a terrific start, set Australian theatrical record, something like 12 million in advance sales, and winning rave reviews and sell-out crowds, standing ovations. You must be pretty thrilled.
Well, we are. Even on the Wednesday matinees, when we get some of the older members of the public in to see the show, we're getting standing ovations from them. So I'm sure, well, the cast is certainly happy, and I'm sure the producers are even more, and the public will be if they come and see us.
Now, Catherine, you have a special little treat, I guess. You get to have a moment with the leading man, Hugh Jackman, which many of the Australian women are a tad jealous about. Tell us about that.
No, he's probably watching, and I don't want to embarrass him, but it's pretty special.
All right. Well, listen, I know you've got to get back tonight for the theatre, so break a leg tonight, but we are happy that you've joined us today, and enjoy the rest of Oaks Day. I know this is your first spring carnival, so thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And best of luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Back to you, Tim.
Sandy, thank you. Well, they're off to the theatre and we're off racing. They have joined Peter and Jenny now in the mounting yard. Some pretty special racehorses down there, PD.
It's going to be a terrific sight here, Tim. Always is down the straight 1,200-metre course, and there is the trophy for the Network 10 in the Lithgow Stakes. Used to be 1,400 metres this race, and over the last couple of years, Jen, they've pulled it back, and I think it's attracted a better field too.
Oh, it's a fabulous field in this, and they're going to go pretty quick, that's for sure.
All right, Madison Point comes out number 6, so we've got a field of 13. And the former Horse of the Year, Mahogany, is number 1, to be ridden by Greg Hall, trained, of course, by Lee Freeman, having his first start since the 21st of September.
Well, his fresh record is very, very good, and you do have to respect this horse's chances. He's with the great trainer, and Lee Freeman. I've got to say, his last 3 runs have probably blotted his good record, but if he can reproduce his old form, he's definitely there with a chance in this fresh.
He won the Lightning first up, didn't he,
yes,
in that preparation? So he obviously does sprint well, as Jen said, and down the straight in particular. Here's his stablemate, Poetic King, number 2, to be ridden by Simon Marshall. And this horse is just 100% trier. He always gives it his best. He's only tiny, as Jen said. He's overcome a couple of life-threatening problems, but he will always get out there and give you everything he's got.
Well, this fellow's had the 10 starts for 3 wins over 1,200 metres, and yes, he is